Xano used to be considered just a database tool, except not anymore. I've built a collaborative drawing app where two users can share a WebSocket connection here and, well, they can see things on each other's screen. The front end was built with a free Cursor agent and the back end is 100% Xano. That's auth, that's the WebSocket real-time connection, and the file storage. So, moving from that paradigm of just a database, I'd love to show you how quick and easy it is to set up with just a couple endpoints that are fully authenticated and, well, just a couple button clicks too. Let's go ahead and get started. Inside Xano here, I'm going to be starting in the database screen. Ironically, no, we're not just a database, but we are good at being a database. Here, I'm going to go to my database assistant and I'm going to ask for it to create an images table that could save my user's ID in an image. See, I've created this workspace and this users table is already here for me. And with it were the authenticated endpoints. We'll be using authentication briefly, and it's mainly just to save and serve that image to Xano and then return it. I'll go ahead and create this table, and now I'm going to go ahead and get started with my real-time WebSocket connection. I'm going to head to my settings, and in the top right, I'll click this gear and then go to my real-time settings. I'm simply just going to enable it. I have this real-time hash that I'm going to save and store, but now I just need to create a channel. This channel is how we're actually going to be connecting. This we'll go ahead and call Canvas. I will then select Enable Nested Channels. We can think of these targets as rooms, so different people can talk on these different channels or these different rooms. I'm going to keep the permissions very simple here. It's going to be anonymous clients, presence, and client public messaging. You do have the ability to use an auth token. We have some documentation on how to actually set that up. Cursor makes it, of course, even easier, but for this demonstration, anybody can come ahead and start drawing. You just need to be signed in to save. We'll then go ahead and click this Save button. After we've clicked the Save button, we need to go back inside our channel and now add a channel trigger. This channel trigger, well, I guess we can call it our listen. It doesn't necessarily matter what we call it here, but we are going to say that it is for message and joins. See, it's this particular trigger or this functionality that allows us to send and receive the actual payloads. Our front end is going to be responsible for a lot. Fortunately, I get to use Cursor and say, make it work, and it will, and I'll give you the prompts that I've used. That data from the WebSocket, all of the messages that this channel is listening to, will then be returned via this response, which is just outputting a payload. That's it. We've done it. Now, of course, there's more functionality that comes with it, but what we've been able to do so far is create the database and the actual WebSocket functionality. We only actually need to do a couple more things. That would be within our API endpoints. We're going to go to our API groups and we'll create a new group. I like to create a separate group from my authentication called app. Typically, this is going to hold the main business logic for my application. Now, what I'll do is in the top right or in this button here in the middle, I'll select add API endpoint and I'll get started here with an upload content. It's just going to be an image here that I'll upload. Authentication. Let's go ahead and say users need to be authenticated. This is going to be the endpoint where once I've downloaded that image, I can then send it to Xano. Well, it's going to come to my endpoint. This file resource is my input. It's then going to go ahead and create an image saved with the variable of image. I just need to save it to my database. I'll add a function and I'll go to my database requests and I'll simply find that add record. Clicking add record, I get to select what table I want to save it to, and that's my image table. My user here, I'll update. I'm going to scroll down in this list to find my auth. Now, I can also use this nav bar up here to select auth, but what I'm looking for is my ID. This is the user's authentication token. We can see up here in this endpoint, authentication is required. So, because that's the case, I have the ability to use my user's auth ID. Now, for that image, it's just going to be that image variable up above. So I'll click it open and select my variable image and save. Then I'll click publish and perfect. We're done with the upload image. We need one more, which is get all of our images. I'll add an API endpoint, CRUD database operations, and then I'll select my image where I'll say query all image records. Create my endpoint. I am going to go ahead and select user authentication for this as well. Same principle. We're going to be able to use that auth ID. Since our image table is saving the auth ID with the image, so we can associate an image with the user, we can easily get all of our images. So what I'll do is for my image table, I'll query all my images. I'll select it open and I'll add a query. This query, it's going to be pretty simple. It's just that image.user, and it's going to equal my auth ID. Click apply, click save, click publish, and I'm done. It is that simple. Now, there's a cheat code here too. We have Swagger documentation. For all of your groups and for all of your endpoints, we automatically generate the Swagger documentation. And in this blue link here, well, here's all of the information that an AI needs to successfully build these endpoints inside your application. On these pages, both my authentication and my app Swagger documentation, I am going to want to go ahead and keep these URLs handy because I can feed this to my agent to build my app. With that in mind, we need one other piece of information that we briefly went over, and that is just that connection hash. So once I have my connection hash found in my real-time settings, I can now provide all of this information to my agent and have it build a web application that allows two users to draw together. Now, inside Cursor, I've gone ahead and constructed this prompt. I'll go ahead and provide the prompt for you. There are a couple things that we should point out before we proceed and have it build to go ahead and test it. Here, I'm going to be using the CDN link. The CDN link can be found in our docs that will be included within the description, but this is so that we can actually use the Xano SDK. Then we're going to include those Swagger documentations that I had previously pointed out. We'll then include the real-time connection hash, as well as the canvas, and importantly, our domain. This is our instance URL. This isn't our instance URL with any endpoints. This is just the base instance URL. Then I'll go ahead and outline what I'm looking for, and I'll write what it is, an application for drawing. We're going to let users connect to a canvas, then all of these requirements. And now we're going to go ahead and click send and watch it build what it does. So now as I test this out, I'll just go ahead and paste in the URL. That's, of course, everything's local here at the moment, and I'll go ahead and do so here. And we can see that we are connected to the canvas. I'll go ahead and say hi, and we can see that over here, the user is seeing that. So perfect. It's working exactly as we want. Let's go ahead and try and log in. We'll, of course, go ahead and try to sign up. So our name is Cam. We'll say this is cam1@xano.com, and I'll give it a good password. So once I'm logged in, I should be able to go ahead and say hello. This other user can draw a line, and I can click export PNG where I'll be able to save this image. So now I should be able to click on my name where I then see my image returned from the database. And this is what myself and the user created. So now we have a collaborative drawing canvas that we created using the free agent on Cursor, but more importantly, set it all up inside Xano within just a handful of moments. So with a couple button clicks and of course a Cursor agent, we can create a really awesome collaborative application that sort of separates Xano from being just a database tool. If you have anything else you'd like to see, go ahead and let us know in the comments. We'd love to be able to develop content for you. But of course, if you have any questions or comments, also feel free to drop something in the comment section, reach out to us within the community or even within your instance, within the support chat. We'd love to be able to help you build. So now you know, Xano's more than a database tool. Happy building.